All right, like to call this meeting to order pursuant Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. If anyone else wishes to record, they must let the chair know. First off, we have minutes.
Chairman, I move approval of the minutes of June 22nd, 2026. I found a couple of very minor things that I suggested to Brooke. One name misspelled and adding a couple of quotation marks on Conrad's work. But I didn't think it was worth taking the board's time to describe those in detail here, so I'll move approval with subject to minor amendments.
Okay. So, second. First and second, motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Conrad?
Aye.
Tim? Aye. Peter?
Aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. Correspondence here. Oh, Dan's there.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a Great Barrington sign bylaw change, and Lennox looks like Elm Court is moving on their permitting. Anybody wants that? Next agenda item. Public comments, not anything not pertaining to what's on the agenda. Okay, hearing none. We'll do a Form A. Pat?
Hey, my name is Patrick McDonough, and I'm gonna get there. I Maple Street, which is a property that had the ADU on it, that just was in the paper here. And what he would like to do is cut off the ADU unit onto its own lot. So he owns what's outlined in green. And what he wants to do is make a new line here where he's got one dwelling on one dwelling on the other. A new line here, dwelling on this.
Okay, will that be conveyed to someone?
I don't know.
Could it be conveyed?
It could be conveyed. Yes.
That poses a problem. Within our ADU bylaws that were built under the ADU, a lot on which a detached ADU has been constructed cannot be divided or conveyed in a way that divides ownership of the primary dwelling and the ADU.
Yeah, and I think that becomes a problem when he conveys it, right?
So we can't sell it to anyone.
Possibly not. He may end up mortgaging it or something, or doing something different with it. I'm not sure. I'm not aware. you know,
Yeah, that's,
But as I read that the way you read it, it still doesn't
you're
negate.
still dividing it from the primary owner.
No, not until.
This is the primary dwelling. And you're dividing the ADU.
Pat, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Was the ADU constructed after the bylaw was enacted or before?
I want to say it was during.
It was after.
So it's clearly an ADU
Yeah.
subject to the town law for ADUs.
Right.
Well, it had to be after, because you had to commit for two,
It could have been just two buildings on the lot that existed when zoning came in, right? It could have been done
you weren't
before.
allowed to do that until the ADU bylaw went into effect.
No,
So it had to be post.
during the period before zoning is what I was asking about. It was a really old building.
No,
Maybe
no.
there would be a different.
No, this is new. Yeah. It is.
So the dilemma comes up here, I mean, technically you're splitting a relatively large lot into two compliant
Sorry, but that's from Matt.
areas,
Today, he
two
got
compliant
that. to us.
setbacks. Frontage is all compliant.
I know.
An issue probably would occur if you had a smaller lot that you couldn't split, but you were still allowed to have an ADU on it. Per the bylaw,
But then we can't create a non-conforming lot, so that would have solved that.
but you couldn't create a
couldn't.
non-conforming lot. This is,
Or make a non-conformity. We would always have to have the setbacks if there's a dwelling there.
if this is a compliant.
It is.
Yeah, I know, it's,
You know, that's,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, it looks like it's self-defeating, but anyway, I see what you're saying too. If you have the requirements of meeting zoning,
I
how can
think,
that keep
but-
it from meeting zoning? I can understand on regular, some ADUs, you don't have that requirements, so they don't allow you to subdivide it.
so water and sewer on this?
Hmm?
Water and sewer?
Yes.
well, it's septic, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
There's a septic.
Yeah, they are on separate septic. Water. Right? No, there's a vent, septic vent, so it's like they're on septic builds.
Is there a separate water also?
I believe they're on separate water. I don't know for sure.
Right, sorry, they're not on septic. They're not on separate septics, right? There's just a single vent.
Then an extension,
Yeah, so two septic systems.
Yeah, this is a newer septic system. The house would have been on a separate one. This is an older house.
This is the Graham property from way back when.
Yeah,
I don't think this is what we had in mind when we wrote that restriction.
no, it's not, but the
I
restriction.
know I was thinking about, something in the backyard that didn't have its own frontage.
Yeah,
And you didn't want to be able to promote separate lots so that then you could have an ADU turned into a principal dwelling and then you have two more ADUs, it would just multiply and multiply.
And complicated further if you did not have water and you didn't have sewer. Complicates even things further because the
Yeah.
land areas.
So this would allow, if this were granted, then they could, each of those lots could produce one more ADU apiece, right?
yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the requirements are, but yeah.
Well, if they could get the setbacks, lot two would be tight.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah, I
more
don't think that's their
support.
intent though.
No,
Is there a hurry on this from their point of view?
Yeah, I don't really think so. I don't know for sure, but no, I don't think so.
I would like to not vote against this and I would like to not vote for it because I feel like it's unfair to say
Yeah.
no, but I don't
Yeah.
feel like we have the authority to say yes.
Well, I think, isn't the building inspector the zoning enforcer? And
he is the enforcement officer.
so
Yeah.
he should have a look at this as well.
He has,
Yeah.
So this-
we have a letter from him
Mhm.
and he. Okay,
Thinks it's okay.
from an enforcement standpoint,
I'm not sure if I understand why.
I don't either.
Can we have a bylaw that overrides the subdivision rule? That that subdivision is by right here if the frontage requirement is met?
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
he's saying too.
There's the problem we have.
Because this is, the frontage requirement is met, which means this is yes.
Yeah, if it was an empty lot, if lot two was an empty lot, it'd be no
Right.
question we
Right.
could approve it.
If
But it was
this-
Right,
built
but
as an
are
ADU.
we allowed to have a bylaw that overrides that? That's a state law.
Overrides.
That
Yeah.
like, that if frontage requirements are met, it's a yes. It's approval not required.
That's a good point in that I'm here for a Form A, not for any other bylaws. That's a very
Right,
good point.
but that was built as an ADU under the ADU bylaw.
I understand it, but that can't negate what this is for.
Yeah.
This is only for Form A endorsement, whether it has frontage and access, period. It doesn't mean that it meets zoning. It says right
Okay,
here.
no, I'd like,
Yeah,
give me
so it,
give me a reason to sign it.
yeah. So that gives you reason to sign the plan. Now he's fighting with the zoning or building enforcer as to whether or not he could do
Like-
something with it.
Like Peter said, this was not the intent that we
Yeah.
had here.
I can see that, obviously.
Could just be a second
Yeah.
unit.
Actually, it's good that something like this comes up because that's how it happens. And then it will get straightened out.
Yeah,
It will.
And
I have no doubt.
the easiest way would have been to form this a Form A just prior.
Right.
But
Yeah, but I don't think that's what he had
No,
intended at that point, and he got snowballed into something where he has to
Yeah.
try and get out of it. Yeah, but what he was saying is that focus is on the Form A.
Yep.
Form A is only frontage and access. That's the only reason you cannot sign this plan. Is if it shows a subdivision. Frontage and access are the only things that determine that.
exactly, you're right.
So then, and it even says, doesn't mean it meets zoning bylaws and all the rest of it. That goes to your building inspector, whoever is your overseeing authority there. And then from there, permits can be issued for what he needs to do or not.
Not subject to appeal by butters.
There's no notification of butters, not in this case. I'm sort of the opinion that can be done.
It's got the frontage.
Everything's
It's all
compliant.
separate
Frontage, land
utilities.
areas,
Yep,
water, sewer. It
Yep.
doesn't make any existing structures non-conforming as to setbacks.
correct.
So basically, under any other Form A application, it meets everything that we would normally do. The problem is the building permit was issued as an ADU. I mean, if this was a 1 acre lot, and you had the principal structure and the ADU on it, the game's over. You can't subdivide it. But this
You
has,
can't
compliant.
Form A it. There wouldn't be enough room.
We need an opinion from the town council.
I think I'm ready to vote yes on the ground that it's compliant with frontage requirements and without reference to the zoning limitations.
Yeah.
And then I think we should keep this in mind for town meeting for maybe an amendment.
I think so too. Just
Just ratify what we're doing tonight.
Well, I think clarify,
Clarify,
because
that's
it does, it
because
through,
I think this is the right argument here, which is that the zone A is only a question of frontage and access,
yep,
and we can't say no. It is A and R.
Yep.
And then the rest of it is a question of zoning enforcement,
which
These
is,
are the opinion.
right? And we have the opinion of the building commissioner. It doesn't actually affect the zone A approval. But we do have an
Form A
opinion.
approval.
Yeah, the Form A approval. But we do have an opinion relative to the zoning. Well. So I move that we approve this Form A.
motion,
Second,
second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Conrad,
Aye.
Kim,
Aye.
Peter,
aye.
Buck Donovan, aye. They're
Thanks,
usually
Pat.
easier than that, Pat.
You know what? It's the glasses.
Yeah.
You see, I don't get involved in complicated.
There's always that gray area.
It is. But it actually helps you focus in on getting a really good one together.
You guys need a Sharpie?
Yeah. Oh, no, I have one.
Sharpie, you always have Sharpies are always.
You don't need one for the paper one.
Started going, Conrad.
There's three.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Need 3 copies? More of that.
Yeah, I am.
These are ready for you, Pat, I think.
This one here is the one moved.
Extra?
He's got 4.
Yeah, you got 4. Do you want 5?
Sorry,
Brian Sider's here. I don't know where it's from.
Okay. Next up on the agenda is to open up public hearing. The address on that one? 60? Yeah, 165 Housatonic Street.
No one can hear you.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to speak up here as well. Brian Sider with Foresight Land Services. I'm representing Garden Management LLC. Again, we've submitted a special permit request to demolish the existing Pilgrim Inn, 165 Housatonic Street, and build a new 4-story Marriott hotel. And the hotel itself being the CBC district, the property also has residential area on the property, which the existing buildings are now in. We're moving it outside of the building, but it will be for parking. So I'm really here tonight to request that we set a date for the balloon test. That was the discussion at the last meeting. We received, of course, many comments which we're looking to address last week. Or prior, the Conservation Commission was presented with the third-party reviewers' comments, which largely mirrored ones we had received from DEP. We're looking to address those as well. Many of those comments are going to be clarifications and some legal questions. And Attorney Lynch wasn't able to be here tonight, but I think the ultimate goal was to schedule a balloon test while everyone is here so that everyone can be aware of what the date is. I'm open to suggestions as to when that is. I certainly have some dates that won't work for me, particularly Fridays, because our survey crew does not work on Fridays. But again, open to suggestions. Toward the end of the month, there's a few dates that don't work.
All right.
For Jeff Lynch. So to discuss that.
Um,
And again, we're working on planting plans. Floodplain compensation plan is done. We're looking to just present everything all at once as a revised plan set with the comment responses. So I don't want to hash out specific ones without going through the whole process. That's in the works. But if there are specific ones, I can.
what date are you guys thinking?
I'm pretty free.
Would we want to do like next Monday? Yes.
Next Monday, you say?
Yeah, could that work?
In the afternoon for me.
Not evening?
Yeah,
Okay. Or you guys think like 3 or 4 o'clock?
Work meeting. Oh, I could do 3 on Monday, the 20th.
Nothing later?
I have meetings all at 4 o'clock hour, and then I could do 5.
Okay. Could anybody do 5? Could you guys do 5?
5 p.m.
Yeah,
If we could do that on Monday.
Peter,
Yes.
20th.
Conrad? Brooke? The 20th at 5 p.m.?
You guys need it.
Okay, thank you. So we will do a site visit. So Brooke, you'll have to post that. Your site visit, and you'll have balloon tests up.
And I
Appreciate.
just want to clarify, we have 2 balloons currently, so. How we do that is, I guess, up to you guys. Opposite corners, we could do the 2 back corners of the extent of the building height. It just doesn't come up much, so we need 4
No.
balloons there.
I think the front corners, so you can, from the roadside. And then we
I
could,
think a lot of the concern from the
Is the
neighbors
back?
is on the back hillside,
so
so
let's do the
back,
2 back
at
corners.
least one back corner.
Yeah, we can do back northeast,
Okay,
southwest. I mean.
yeah, opposite corners.
That works for me. I could also do center line of the building through the middle, so it's. I'll stick with opposite corners. And
I think that one of the back corners would be the closest thing to the uphill neighbors in the east.
Sure.
Can I ask a couple of questions about process, getting organized? So you are before 3 different boards of this town right now with this,
Yes.
and I understand that there's some work underway at the Department of Environmental Conservation as to suggestions that they might make about redesign. Does it make sense for us to set a date for you to submit a revised proposal that you're comfortable with, but that also includes what the results are of the environmental reviews?
You're talking about the environmental policy.
Yeah, whatever DE, whatever they are, DEP.
MEPA.
Yeah,
So we have a preliminary pre-filing with them this Wednesday. We don't feel that it's subject to MEPA review because we're in the riverfront, which doesn't seem to qualify as a wetland under the Wetland Protection Act.
so there's a
But
jurisdictional
there's-
question
The
first.
third-party reviewer had a different opinion on that, so we are going to do the pre-filing meeting for MEPA Wednesday. We'll see what they determine, whether or not it requires an ENF, which is an environmental notification form submitted to the state. It is, then submitting that would take some time, so.
So the review that I was thinking of with the Department of Environmental, whatever, is you're referring to as a MEPA because that's Massachusetts Environmental Policy Act.
Yes.
And that's either going to be triggered or not, depending on how the question comes out that you were just referring to, right?
If they feel that we've exceeded one of their thresholds, then it's typically necessary to submit an ENF to the state and environmental notification form.
And does that slow things down
Yes.
for months?
Well, there's a review period and it gets published in the Environmental Monitor, which is a newspaper that's statewide for all the environmental projects. It has to be there for a certain number of days. There's a review period after that. So it's a several month process.
And then they make a finding or they make a letter or what do they do at the end of that?
So they put it out to other agencies for comment and it comes back with either approvals or special conditions that they would be imposed. Again, this is a riverfront redevelopment project for an existing use of the property. We're not altering an actual wetland resource area. So our position again in not filing for me, but originally was that we hadn't exceeded the thresholds.
Right,
For half
right.
acre of wetlands there. But
Yeah, I'm not trying to resolve that. I'm just trying to understand what the implications are here.
yeah, the implication of it, submitting an ENF would be several months of review. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily would make any difference to the project. Site plan, but
Wouldn't it make sense for us if that happens, if there is a several month review under MIPA, that we would defer consideration until that process is complete? Or I don't mean to imply that I think so. I'm just asking your opinion.
sure, well, the Conservation Commission would typically not order an order of conditions, not approve an order of conditions unless it had gone through the MIPA process and was approved. Typically, it wouldn't hold up zoning enforcement because it's a separate entity, but
Yeah, so I'm just, this is me
we have to
speaking.
address.
This is me speaking now. My opinion is that this whole process requires so many special permits and they are so discretionary that I really feel like I want to be certain what we're approving and not do it in piecemeal. So, I guess maybe Mr. Lynch, when he gets to focus on this, or you could suggest when you think you're going to file a revised plan and whether that revised plan will include alterations requested or demanded by the Conservation Commission or by the MIPA review. I mean, I would feel better personally knowing that what we're going to see here is the final thing that you want to build. But I understand that protracts the length of time that you're going to have to wait. And I understand that means money, so we may have to compromise on that, but I'd still like to hear your recommendations. Am I out of bounds here, Mr. Chairman?
I hear your point. I think they can coincide though, because their Concom and their permitting is not going to affect as much what we're doing. There's, as long as they have the stormwater runoff plan, they have erosion control, the fine details of that will be handled by Concom.
It's not going to change the parking or the location of the building, you don't think, or the height of the building?
Or it could.
It could, and then that'd be a minor amendment, but we could get the either approve or deny this. Get that going. I just wouldn't want to sit on it for that amount
Okay.
of time.
Okay,
Well, the first step really is, again, the meeting Wednesday is just a pre-filing meeting, to determine what MIPA thinks we should do, in their opinion. If it comes back, their opinion is we haven't exceeded threshold, then we would just move forward. You know that by the next time.
and Brooke will know the result of that automatically, right? Because she'll be there at that meeting, or will you notify her what
We would
the?
notify
Did you say that was Friday?
Wednesday after,
Okay.
So we will.
prior to the conservation commission.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can share. Or also, same as that, will be there. Share commission.
Right, I can clarify Wednesday.
So,
Yeah, Monday night we'll talk about it.
Just
Yep.
logistics wise, we always have to file the permits in the summer quarter, so.
yeah,
Working through the process.
well, I don't know the process nearly as well as you, so I'll look for your advice. Thank you.
Before we go on with much more comment, we have two letters I'd like to enter in here. First is from our legal counsel. There was a question last time about if a special permit was actually necessary for the height, and his came back as yes, it is. I'd like to enter that in a nutshell. That's what it is. Also, we have a letter from resident of Maryland. Marilyn, would you like to read this, or you just want us, we've all seen it. And
It's the one that is sort of outlining my vision. for
Yes.
the CPC response to Peter's request at the last meeting, and it's for your information, it's
Okay.
basically just saying. I think this CPC has a great description in the zoning code. Please let's just adhere to it and not try to cut away and
okay, thank you. And we'll also keep this in our records, okay? How about our pages of questions you're still working on?
We're still going through. We have a draft
Okay.
response. Like I said, rather just submit it all at once. We had the third party review comments come back a week or two ago. We're incorporating those. A lot of the, again, plans have been revised and I'm just going to submit it all at once. The ZBA continued to August, and the special permit from the ZBA largely is for the floodplain, which is essentially under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission, so.
Yeah, but they're the permit granting authority on that for now.
Otherwise, the architect has looked at the plans or the comments, the idea of revitalizing
Yeah,
revising the facade to meet the town a little better. We do have some drafts of that, and so there'll be.
could you get those to us as soon as possible? Let them know.
He wants to submit a
Well,
consultant.
they'll be together.
Consolidate. It'll all be together, okay?
You know, I'm not looking to sit on it for too long.
No, okay,
Finalize.
get it out there.
Have you looked at the idea of reducing the 4-story to a 3-story within a large footprint? Has that been at least looked at? Again, relative to the property to the south.
I certainly revised the comment. The problem with that is that the larger we make the footprint, the more parking we need, and that runs into Conservation Commission concerns with impervious area.
Parking's
So
a
if
function
they
of,
need 74, 75 rooms. Get 74, I want to correct that. 74 rooms, and that requires a certain number of parking spaces. Then the smaller we make the footprint, the less impervious area on the overall site that we create. And that's benefit to the wetlands.
however, have you considered the adjacent property that's owned by the contiguous piece to the south that the current owner LLC
Yeah.
possesses? Have they considered blending that with the rest of it to enhance the square footage of the general development envelope? And consider that in the expansion of the footprint to bring the profile down to three stories. I'm just asking if that's been looked at conceptually.
Yeah, it's in our consideration. It's certainly, you know, it's addressed in the comments. We see that, but
So is it,
I don't want to speak to it too much, but because it's a separate entity now, the thought is really not to bring it into special permit. But we do have to address that, so it's
so blending the properties is not an option at this point.
it's been considered. I can't say where they are at right now.
Okay,
I defer that to Jeff Venture.
As far as the,
I'm aware that they own the property and the
right,
implications, yes.
again, we're just looking at it conceptually, if that could be looked at.
And it
I mean,
is.
that could solve some problems for us and for the neighbors. Okay. Again, that's a land ownership decision. I was just curious if you, as the site engineer, had evaluated the ability to expand the footprint into that other lot, hence to reduce the profile. You probably have looked at it, but you have to sell it to the,
There's implications for parking. Well, we look at that, so.
Right.
Well,
Well,
it's been considered. It's being considered.
right, but again, if you have more land to deal with, it's conceivably that could assist in meeting the parking ratios and still meet your 75 room ratio. The other question I had there was on the ZBA You say that's going back to floodplain in August. When is the Concom review gonna be?
They have a meeting this Wednesday night.
That's Wednesday night?
I don't know that, again, the comments will be back before that time. We received the third party reviews comments and then revisions are issued that their third party reviewer will be reviewing stormwater. Again, it's being revised as well. So, a determination won't be made Wednesday,
And
my
the,
assumption.
under the MIPA application, I know you're referring to the stormwater management aspects of MIPA. Have we resolved whether the chip generation aspects of MIPA, if those thresholds are being met? My guess is it's not gonna meet the MIPA threshold for traffic, but I guess I'm asking you,
No, it does not meet their threshold.
is that the 3,000
New trips, yes.
new trips? That's what MIPA would trigger for trip generation. And we're in the 600 range? Somewhere around there.
It sounds right to me, I'm not. So no, I don't think we meet any other MIPA thresholds or we would have. We get it.
Anything else?
But we are speaking with Mass DOT because of the change in use of the curb cut.
So your intent at this point is we will have this demonstration on Monday night. You're gonna go to Concom on Wednesday night, continue that process. You're gonna go to ZBA in August to start that process or to
It's
complete
not
that.
till late August, yeah.
And then as far as the list of questions that we collectively presented, when do you suspect we will have the revised plans and addressing of the comments that were all raised, not only by us, but by the
Yeah, they're-
other butters as well?
Yeah, they're largely completed. It's just a final. It's really between architect and attorney. And they're available, just.
So when do you think,
Fruition yet.
when do you think you might be back to see us? With that package?
Well, your next regular meeting is in
27,
2 weeks.
yeah.
So
Is that,
the intent is to submit them within that time.
okay, so be able to come back
Including the
here,
revised plan.
come back here in 2 weeks to pretty much discuss where we're at. Is your architect going to try to give us something more compatible to what we're looking for?
I have drafts of what that looks like. We've looked at other hotels in Berkshire County specifically, as well as through town here. Definitely some changes that can be made to the look of the building.
Okay. And you got anything to add?
Conrad.
Yeah, we're almost kind of in a holding pattern here.
I'm set, thank you.
Set, you all hear the timeline that we're looking at here. If there's anything new or that hasn't gone over, if anyone would like to speak at this time, I think you could. If not, we'll be out there. Marilyn? Come on up.
Ryan, can you mind if I just call your diagrams here?
Sure, you want me to?
Just of the new site, you know, the,
If that one works, I can switch.
well, yeah, no, this has it, so. I just have a few comments I'd like to make about the parking and the zone division, if I could. And I have a letter here that I can leave with you, but, before I sort of get into that, I'm just gonna summarize my letter. I wonder if, when you do the balloon test, would you all be able to come up to Maple Street? And have a look down on the site as we see it?
If you would allow us, then
Absolutely. I'll give you-
we would
I'll
do
give you
that.
Donuts and coffee if you like.
I think that would be Everybody good with that?
Yeah, and then you can see the
I think
stream
so.
that we've been talking about and, you know, sort of have the whole view of, from the residential part of the. So that would be great. And then I assume that with the revised, application, there'll be, you said a landscaping plan. Will there be a traffic study?
So we're in talks with Mass DOT about the traffic study.
Right, so it's not gonna be ready for in 2 weeks, do you think, or?
Don't know that.
So that's a question mark,
That
and,
might not even be
It's
necessary.
required.
It might not be required. There's a threshold of trips per day.
oh, I see, okay. Then one other thing is, I assume you'll be changing the footage of the building throughout. It says that it's 11,000 some square feet, that the hotel is that, but it's actually, that seems to be just the footprint, so, yeah. So the building itself is sort of like almost 50, right? You'll be making changes.
Roughly 3 times the size of the hotel that's there now. Over a story.
Right. But that'll be indicated in your application, like the accurate square footage, I'm assuming. Okay, I just wanted to ask about those, but so I wanted to, I was looking at your site plan and I was looking at the town zoning map, the town of Lee, and which is according to the bylaws, is the sort of the source for just seeing where the dividing lines between the zones are. And you have right here an approximate district zone, a district line here that cuts across right here. But when I look at the zoning map, and this was confirmed in a rough approximation that Brooke sent me, zoning from the zoning map up in her office, the line actually goes here. It runs along the top of the property here and it goes over this way. And I think you can see it pretty clearly when you compare the two maps. There's not precise coordinates. Your map also doesn't have any precise coordinates. And I wonder if it's because you use the Massachusetts, the interactive map, forget what it's called.
GIS.
Yeah, and it does show the line up here, but that's not accurate either, nor is it, you know, it's not an authoritative source. So I was wondering, one thing I'm just flagging is unless you have another kind of authoritative or official source, I believe that the zone line is actually down here. And what that means is.
Excuse me, Marilyn, for people who can't see the map, no, I'm not asking you to turn it, I'm just asking you to describe verbally what
Right.
down here means.
Oh, so it basically goes roughly across the top of the
The northeast edge of the building.
the northeast edge of the building, sits a little bit above it. But this distance between this approximate zoning line up here and the zoning map line as it's shown on the town zoning map is about 40 feet. So when you're asking for a 50-foot extension up here, what you're actually asking for is a 90-foot extension from the zone.
So,
the zone line.
My question, in you're correct. The zoning line is not exactly defined anywhere. There's no exact zone, there's no exact measuring or survey coordinates on it. It's an estimated
Right,
line.
right. I mean, the bylaws say that the zones are defined by the map
Yeah,
from 2005.
Yeah.
So that's what.
it is. And so, and then there's the 50 feet extension.
So the 50-foot extension, if you go by the zone,
That one.
this zone here, you know. I mean, from here to here is 90 feet approximately. From here to here is the 50 feet. If you wanted to do from here to the 50 feet, I mean, it would be like
Yeah.
out here or something.
But so their building would still be within that.
Sure, yeah, no, I'm talking about parking. I'm really focused on the parking.
And the parking is a separate issue that would be allowed in that other zone.
Exactly. So there is, so they're asking for a special permit for the extension and then a special permit to put parking in the residential area. So 2 special permits.
Yep.
Basically, what you have is contiguous parking allowed by 2 special permits that are kind of piggyback or, they're melding together for this parking area. If the zone going down is down here, what you're actually doing with these two special permits, this area from here to here is basically doubling the size of the commercial, the lot availability in the commercial
Yeah.
area up to here, this, along this line. This is, from here to here is 175 feet, according to their scale, and from here to here is roughly that too. So you're basically doubling the amount of space that they're using for the commercial purposes, specifically parking, by this expansion into the residential area, which I think is something that's important and that needs to be taken into account, because that's a lot. That's a big expansion into the site.
If I could just respond to that. First off, a lot of that is already parking. But really the extension of the zoning district is only so that more of the parking is in the CBC, but really with the special permit, the other special permit is for parking in the residential zone. So it's not that both are necessarily required, it's just that it made sense to apply for it because it exists.
Part of the problem is a lot of that's pre-existing non-conforming today.
Right.
Existing buildings are pre-existing non-conforming in an R20 zone. And basically their argument, whether we accept it or not, the argument is they're removing the existing structure, existing single-story structures that are pre-existing non-conforming out of the R20 zone, placing all of the structures in the CBC zone, and then just having the parking elements, the paved elements within the R20 zone, which is already there. So that's part of their argument for the granting of a special permit. No, we have
Do
to.
special.
Yeah.
No, and I get that. I
Great.
just wanted to point out that this is like doubling the
Three and
size.
four.
Right. I mean, there's others. There's other things that I want to point out. So that was the first thing, is that, you're basically doubling the size of the commercial, not on this side, obviously, but up to here. This and this, you're doubling that. Other concerns I have about parking is that, so this area, according to the bylaws, you're not supposed to have parking in front of the buildings in the CDC without special permit. You haven't requested a special permit for this parking, which is needed. So that's another special permit that would be required. And I, in my letter, like, quote you chapter and verse if you like. The other thing is that, what it does is the parking in front of the building is, it makes like this whole site, there's no room for landscaping. Where's the landscaping here? There's none. You're putting this enormous expanse of parking right beside, McDonald's is here. That housing company is here. You've got Hannah Provisions across the street. You come into Lee and all you see is like all of this parking. Right now, there's a nice canopy of trees that goes in front of the Pilgrim Inn. There's some really mature trees there. Those are gone. So you're going to have this, buzz cut through the center of the canopy of trees along Housatonic Street, and it's going to have this parking. Another thing is that a special permit is needed for parking in a flood hazard zone. And I couldn't find where this request for a special permit was. When you said it was in the request to the ZBA, but I looked through the documents and I didn't see anything that said we would like a special permit in order to build parking in the flood zone. So I think that needs to be spelled out. That's another special permit.
The special permit through the ZBA is to perform construction activities within the flood zone. Not necessarily parking, performing construction activities.
Right. So constructing, reconstructing the parking, that if you will, that's, you understand what I'm trying to say here. And then finally, and this is an important one. Even with all of this parking, even with this, 165-foot excursion into the residential area, even with, all of the parking along along the street side, there's still not enough parking spaces. I think I pointed this out before. But you have a 75 room hotel. The zoning board, the zoning bylaws say that you have to have a parking space per guest, per hotel guest. It doesn't say per room. It's per hotel guest. If we're aiming in tourists, I think we can understand many of those people will be families. You know, that's the per guest. And then there's also an allowance only for 5 employees. How can 5 employees run a 75 room hotel? You're gonna wind up with another Pilgrim Inn after a couple of years, if that's the case. So, you know, there's just clearly not enough parking spaces according to the bylaws. So even, you know, you mentioned that expanding over to this area would run into parking. Well, I think it would, because, you know, here's the brook that goes back down there, where you can put more parking spaces. So to me, what all this adds up to is that this has to be made much smaller. You can't accommodate 75 room hotel on the space that's given here without, it's just not possible, not with this footprint. So I think, you know, I agree with Peter's point that you need to look at all these kind of special permit requests together. There are a number that aren't requested that should be, and you put it all together and it's like, this doesn't add up into something that's really workable, not only for the site, but for the town of Lee. You know, as I said in that letter that you referenced at the beginning, you know, the zoning bylaws give a really beautiful description of what the CBC should be like. Village atmosphere, sensitive to the historic tradition of Lee, a welcoming, attractive environment. You know, it's full of very nice language. And I understand the special permit process is needed for some kind of allowances, but special permits, to my understanding, are not meant to just evade all the restrictions in place, you know, in a specific zone, so that you can do what? I mean, I don't know. Like, what's the purpose of putting a big hotel right here? So I just wanted to bring all of those things to your attention. Thank you for letting me speak my mind yet again, and I'll leave you with a little bit of copy of it.
Come on up. Thank you, Marilyn.
Before she leaves, could you turn that
Oh,
around?
I'm sorry, yeah.
Actually see it.
Okay, great.
I'll show you what I was talking about. So, thank you. I'm sorry you couldn't see. So, where are we? So they showed the approximate zoning line that's going right here. So this is the CBC, this is the commercial district, this is the residential district. But when you look at the map that's hanging in the town planner's office, the line actually goes here. Sort of along the top edge of the building here. It is approximate, no coordinates, no geographic coordinates are given. But you can see the difference, you know,
It's also available in our bylaws on our website, not to my office. People are taking problems.
Yeah.
But if you
Look,
go.
did they fix that
Yeah.
link actually? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so-
Yeah, so the link on the website was broken like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right, like,
So you go to our bylaws, then you go to zoning, this map right here, it'll pull it up. Right now. Right here.
And if I want to say clearly that this is the line, this is the zone line. And this is not an approximation. I mean, this 40-foot difference is not sort of a difference of just like, well, you know, we were trying to approximate. I mean, that's, you can see it.
Our approximation is based on the approximation of the map. I can't say it's exactly where it is because the map isn't exact, but that's exactly overlay on top of the survey where the line is shown.
You might want to demonstrate that at some point because,
So,
I mean, you put the
just-
two.
Just to make it clear though, what does it change, Marilyn? I don't think it changes
It changes
your
what they're
setback.
asking for. They're asking for.
but their setbacks would still be within the parameters of the building,
Here,
the back.
Yeah,
Still-
Even if it was to the back with the 50-foot, special permit, they would still have proper setback.
yeah, it's
The
50
old-
foot and then,
It would just be the percentage of the special permit of the parking lot they're asking for.
Basically, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean.
So it would not put in violation of zoning.
If the planning board decides to grant both of these special permits, no. But I'm highlighting it because I think it's a bit excessive.
I just don't want
to
people to be
allow this
confused that we're gonna
160.
approve something that's in violation of zoning.
No, and I'm not saying that it's a violation. I didn't say that. I'm just bringing it to your attention to consider, like, do you really want to approve such a large encroachment into a very established and quiet and frankly, who's here, beloved residential area with parking that's, sure, it's not a big building. It's, we'll see what that's like with it. But, it brings, air pollution, noise pollution. It's gonna have lighting. There's gonna be people yelling at each other. There's gonna be car alarms going off. I mean, it's not like it's entirely a benign presence there. And, you have the Patels living right here, right here. I'm right here, other, Xavian's over here. We're close by, as you'll see when you come. So I'm just asking you to reconsider whether that, doubling the size of the commercial lot so that you can put parking, and it's not even enough parking.
Yeah.
For a hotel of this size makes sense. So,
Do you have a comparison of impervious present to what this is?
Actually, less impervious area in the residential zone. Exists
Yeah.
because we're removing the buildings. I just want to clarify,
How about
parking calculations are based on bed, not by guesses, so there's no way to compare the two. 75 beds.
But I think Maryland's point is, you're saying 75 rooms is not 75 beds.
No, the hotel is 75 beds.
And how many rooms?
The number of rooms in the hotel is separate. You have other.
what's your application?
Do your application says 75 rooms, not 75 beds?
That's clarification.
Okay, can we distinguish between rooms and beds?
When you design a hotel, it's based on the number of beds. So I can.
Then the rezoning bylaws say 70 per guest. So that's all something that needs to be sorted out as well by the board.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask some other questions? Do you need to
Come on up. Yeah, we kind of got it. Then,
Maybe a problem. I want to ask some questions having to do with your balloon test.
Need a name and address?
Pardon?
Need a name and address?
Oh, my name is Molly Shipper and I live at 90 Leisure Lane. Okay. I wanted to understand more about the correct representation of the balloon test. I believe that there is going to be, is there, the elevator shafts are on the top of the building or below? It's above? So that you're adding on top of the floor.
Total height is 50. That's the max height.
so there, your
So there's
balloons,
nothing on top of the fourth story, because you've got things like you've got, you have AC units, are they on top of the building? Generally, okay, and you have like probably stairs to get up to the roof, which would have some kind of enclosure also. So when you're doing a balloon test, are you taking into consideration that besides the fact that it is 4 stories, that there are things above the 4 stories that the people will also be having to see, so that your balloons would be higher than 4 stories? They would definitely need to be to the level of anything that's
50
placed on the
feet.
roof.
They'll be at
The
50
max
feet.
height of building, anything on.
So it would be on top of anything else that's on the building. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Sir. Yeah. Come on up.
Was it Rock 45 Wood Street in Massachusetts?
Okay,
I was here when they built the Pilgrims. And it almost ruined our brook. And it has still. Which is illegal and nothing was done. And I don't think anything's gonna be done this time. But you're not telling the truth.
I highly disagree with that.
Oh,
We're meeting the regulations of the Wetland Protection Act as well as other state environmental policies.
well, all I know is that we're getting flooded out. Right, my neighbor?
I can't speak to it.
And
This will be an improvement.
was that issue, so they put the corner of the building, they push full guard. The only fresh water coming down from Maple Street. And I think it's gonna happen again. We'll look for it.
Could you
So-
say your address again, please? Could you tell me your address again, please?
45 Fuller Street, Lee, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The border of this property.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on up, sir. Neighbor.
Name is Ernest Sutton, 37 Fuller Street.
Hey, Ernie. How are you? Remember you?
One day at a time.
Yes, sir.
My concern is there's a lot of wetlands back there and I got approximately 6,800 feet property line that abuts the wetland. Now, the stream used to flow through there. Now, my present physical condition, I can't get down there and go check that culvert out. If I remember right, when I used to own where the cannabis shop is, there's an outlet there for that culvert that comes out like the bridge between Dunkin' Donuts and the cannabis shop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this stream that spilled in, there was a ditch back there. Now, the wetlands are slowly eating up my backyard. Therefore, decreasing the value of my property. I have less property.
Is there, now, do you abut their property or is there something else? Do you abut this
My
property?
backyard does.
Okay.
Uh,
So that brook
Just
is right.
along
Yeah.
My backyard. Joe,
Okay.
I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have my glasses. There's a culvert that runs down through there somewhere and I can't get down there in the bushes and do it.
Gotcha. Will you guys be cleaning out in that area, you think, or that's just not, you're gonna be staying away from that, right?
I believe he's talking about the downstream culvert that goes under
Yep,
Tonic Street.
yes,
Yeah.
We won't be working off the
It
top.
comes out right between bridge right there between.
yeah, it does.
The owner of that property had said that she'd never seen
Yeah,
that culvert flood. I think in our first meeting. But again, we're improving conditions over the existing as we're. It's not.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of.
But my problem is that ditch isn't opened up. Let the water flow freely, my entire backyard's gonna be gone.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay,
Therefore decreasing the value of my property.
Yep.
What was your address?
37-4.
Can we look into options there, please?
I would say I probably got 6,800 feet of wet
Yeah,
on the ditch line that's more or less my property. And I have pine trees back there, they're all dead from the water.
okay. All right,
It's a mess.
I bet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? Yep,
Happy Howard,
good, Howard.
Ann Delbrand, I own the hair salon next on the other side of Starbucks. One question I have, I want to try and picture, the building is going to be about 60 feet back from the road. Is that how far it is?
That's correct, yeah.
So,
Where the pool is now.
so that's where the beginning of the building is, where the pool is now. So personally, I think it's a monstrosity on Houstonic Street. It's too big, it's too close to the road. I mean, what exists there now is this little building that goes down like that and then the rest is way back there. Now you're gonna pull all that stuff way to the front. of the property, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be very nice at all. Okay, that being
Leave
said,
that under the wet protection.
what that,
A big part of the reason we're moving it forward is because of the screen, the wet protection act requires it to be
right,
the way possible. To the screen.
yeah, that whole parking thing is another thing, but what happened with Starbucks? I requested one thing that they do or not do when they put in Starbucks was please don't put anything that's gonna block the entrance so that people coming in and out of my building are, it's gonna create a hazard pulling in and out. And what did they do? They pulled a big green electrical box right there at the end of my driveway. So nobody listened to what the people said. I actually got them to take down a tree, thank the God. Because that's a hazard right there. You got people pulling out of Starbucks, right? You got people pulling out of Salon left. Honestly, I think it's a miracle that there hasn't been an accident there. But my question is, with this big building going in there, what kind of electrical boxes are you going to be putting along the road? Because if little old Starbucks needed extra electricity from that street, how many more electrical boxes are you going to need to power that hotel right there? And where are they? Where are the electrical boxes? I
Largely
bet you there's
outside of
some.
my specialty, but
What's that?
it's largely outside my specialty, it's.
Well, I'm telling you,
Grid.
I mean, what is this thing right here? Pole location.
That's,
But I mean, there's got to be more electric, right?
There is, and
So where is it
we'll,
going?
when we see the landscape plan, please make sure we know where the transformers are gonna be, as well as the dumpsters and all that.
Yes, dumpsters
Yep.
are a big one. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I'm not in favor of it. I think it's way too big. It's right in the middle of town.
It
would
is.
be better a little on 102 anywhere, but I don't think a building that big belongs on this street.
Come on up.
George Fogarty on Main Street,
Yes, sir.
not to whip the dead horse, but consideration for lighting that's going to be required on buildings has a huge effect to the immediate area. And I've had the pleasure of serving on a planning board in the past. And I understand how difficult it can be for working through the many details that come on plan. I've just seen lighting details get overlooked, pushed aside, and forgotten about. And it would be a benefit to the community at large to have a lighting specialist look at the project and perhaps feed you some suggestions as to requiring one.
If you heard our first meeting, we had a lengthy list of requests, and one of it was a more detailed lighting plan with types, assurances that they would adhere to the dark sky national plan, all that. Yeah.
Again, beating a dead horse, but
No, it's all got to be said.
keep the item afloat. Thank you.
There's one more hand.
Well, I heard someone else back there, but same thing or more. Oh, and then you again.
Hey everyone, my name is Holly Jones, I'm a local Lee resident at 125 Mountain View Terrace. And I also, okay, I'll speak up a little bit. My name is Holly Jones. I'm a local Lee resident at 125 Mountain View Terrace. I also serve as the producing director over at Jacob's Pillow in Beckett. And I'm speaking tonight in support of the permit and the site plan application for the proposed Fairfield Marriott at 165 Tonic Street. And listening to our discussion at the last public hearing, it became clear to me that despite a lot of different opinions in the room, there's actually a lot we all agree on. We all want a well-managed and maintained, clean, comfortable, and safe hotel. We want to drive commerce for the town and attract visitors who will be able to walk downtown to shop and to dine. We all agree that the builder needs to compromise and work collaboratively with the town to address valid neighborhood concerns. From my perspective at Jacob's Pillow, I see firsthand the demand for high-quality lodging year-round, all the time. On average, Jacob's Pillow and our visiting dance companies spend roughly $600,000 annually on hotels in the Berkshires. We rent anywhere from 25 to 50 rooms per week in the summer months. And I'm just talking about one arts organization in our area. We look to trusted local partners like the Black Swan Inn and the Quality Inn first. That's always who we go to. Sometimes we exhaust their inventory. When internationally recognized companies like the Royal Ballet, the San Francisco Ballet, major dance funders, and theatrical consultants come to town, we're forced to look outside of Lee to find the quality and the quantity of rooms required for those visitors. We want to spend those dollars here in Lee. The current site of the Pilgrim Inn is an operational nuisance and a real visual eyesore. Overhauling it aligns well with Lee's master plan to improve the town gateway, to make Lee's appearance more welcoming to residents and visitors, diversify the local economy towards tourism, and rehab underutilized properties. A modern hotel franchise would allow Lee to attract overnight visitors here year-round who currently sleep elsewhere, to visit regional anchors like Jacob's Pillow and all the cultural institutions, the hiking, our ski slopes, the incredible access to nature we have, and the many small businesses in the Berkshires. I'm thinking about the future of our town. I'm thinking about the future of these hotels. And I would urge the planning board to grant the necessary waivers and special permits to allow the project to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good question.
Oh,
Jones, I wonder if would you be able to give us an estimate of what percentage of the rentals that you make north of Lee because you can't find adequate space in Lee that's either the right kind of accommodation or enough rooms?
Sure.
What percentage would it be?
I'd say roughly 50% of our hotel booking goes to Great Barrington and Pittsfield and Lenox.
Thank you.
thank you. And over here, come on up.
Hi, I'm Wendy Howe, and I live at 530 Meadow Street in South Lee. So I'll reiterate kind of what I had said last time, that it's not going to impact my life day to day, but these poor people who live right around it, I think it's horrible. I think it's just too big. I also think that the fact that right now, people who are managing that hotel, I hear all the time that there's the police there. I hear that there's problems. It has what, 25 rooms?
Yeah.
So how are they expected to be able to manage a hotel that's 75 rooms or 75 beds or whatever that might be? So it doesn't make sense to me at all. Has anybody done any sort of study
One
with
of our
like Stephanie
questions.
Burdick or Craig to find out whether
I can respond to that. The owners of the property are actually developers. They would be hiring a area management company to actually manage the day-to-day operations of the hotel.
but there's still the same,
So
there's still the same owners that own it now. So if they can't
property
even,
owners are different than the operators. So Marriott has high
but
standards.
obviously if the
Hotels,
owners,
they require
if
management.
the owners don't care enough about the property now, it doesn't make a difference because they obviously are not invested in the neighborhood. They're not invested in the town. They're not invested in the safety of people who live near there if there's always the police there. It doesn't make sense.
Mischaracterizing the developers of the property.
But the developers are only in it to make the money. They don't live here. They're not there day to day. They're not, living behind it where there's going to be like a football light up section.
the management of the hotel will be done by Marriott. Managers, management company.
I still don't think it would be enforced, and if they can't manage it now at 25, how can they manage such a big property? Doesn't make sense at all.
I just want to clarify, it's not currently being operated by a manager. It will be when it's Marriott.
Well, it still doesn't make sense.
Well, and that's one of our big questions. When, if there's problems, who do we call?
Yeah, and then also
that-
what happens if Marriott pulls out? They're not invested in our town. They don't care. All they
They're
wanna
gonna
do is
have a
make
little
money.
investment here, I believe.
What?
I believe that's quite an investment here. They're gonna have.
But they pull out of places all the time.
Yeah.
They come in, build up, they have this big hype that they're all of a sudden gonna have all these rooms, they're gonna make this money, they're gonna lose a little bit of taxes to the town, which we're like, ooh. But then in reality, it's gonna end up costing us more money and the police going over there all the time and issues. And I still don't understand how such a big structure can be put in the same pretty much footprint that's there now. You know, and it's, I mean, I can understand if something like this was gonna go where the outlets were. And when the outlets were put in, as I was a little kid, I remember it was like the idea, oh, the outlets, they're gonna bring so much business to town. You go up there now,
Do you remember that argument?
what?
Do you remember those? That was quite a, Nelson? Was it that cut and dry? We had people chaining themselves to trees up there. It was not all positive, believe me.
But the idea was that it was gonna bring jobs, it was gonna bring, you know, taxes to the town, it was gonna bring people off the highway going there, and then they're gonna come into the town to walk around.
Kinda has.
It doesn't happen.
No?
There's nothing up there now. You go up there and it's like empty. So it just, I think that we're opening up this huge Pandora's box by allowing something like this going into town. That's all I have to say.
Just to return to your point about the management. I didn't know until just now that there would be a new management company hired or at least approved by Marriott. But I think the question still remains of what happens if Marriott pulls out.
Right.
And I did ask Mr. Lynch to address that at the last meeting, and I believe he's probably intending to say something. I'm hoping he's gonna say something about that when we get together next.
I also think the fact that the people who own that property now, who are looking to improve it, aren't even here. I don't care. I know that they were on Zoom or something, but the fact that they can't even show up for the meetings. You know, that shows that they really don't give a shit about this town or anything. So that's,
Gotcha.
and Peter, my dad says hi.
Ellie Katzman,
I'm sorry, what?
Ellie Katzman says hi to you.
Oh,
That's my dad.
you're the Dr. Katzman?
No, Ellie Katzman. He knows you through all of
Oh, okay, okay. Ellie Cat, oh, yeah.
There you go. You got it now.
He has told me his daughter lives here 2 or 3 times. Nice to meet you. Okay.
Do we have any other comments? Okay, oh, I'm sorry. Come on up, Nelson.
Thank you.
Whereabouts now? Address?
135 Main Street.
Gotcha.
And then where the water comes down, like, it follows with the breeze. There are people here that live on Houston Valley Street that are probably shy and bashful, they're going to say no. But they have problems with the water too, so I they talk to the breeze where you get there. Where they get water or so, whatever. And I told you last time, fire department, you got to get out of the house because the break door. It's really nasty. You know, there's never had the water coming out.
Yep.
Once that purpose small goes, the whole system. It's way too big. We better off maybe, but I know they want to be 2 stars, 3 stars. They should think of it.
I don't think that's not an option, so we really have to get that out of our heads, I think. We're looking at what we have right here.
4 star. They build it 4, it's a nightmare because I think the first concern of many board should be the people that live on. I spoke to a board, and I don't get along with one guy because of politics. He argued me, but what I said came about the 4-story. I'm not gonna swear because they swore. No blanket way should a 4-story hotel go in there. Problem is that that boy doesn't run the town or the water. So you gotta think of the people here. There is a water problem. You know, it doesn't look good when you look at my book or buy it. But you know, once they get in the hotel, it's all about, you know, that's the way it is there. Money, 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 price everything. What is the problem down there with that hotel? This where the friend used to be. Last time we went out to a meeting, that was police officer. And tired went down there, I'm down there, whatever, the motel. That's a long stop to front of me down there. I was there one bill. But there's a problem with people in there, and I know they're not supposed to be in there, but. I know any of you guys live where we live, and you would say, no way. 4-story hotels going in that location. Well, you got people all around, taxpayers, you got to think of people first. If you can do it, fine. People are happy, fine. Nobody's fine with it. It's huge. And it's gonna be, somebody's gonna be way away from the road, it's gonna be all parking in front. It's gonna be on top of the house in the Maple Street. That good for the people that live there? No.
It can't be, the brook's in between, Nelson.
The brook is a mess. They gotta do something with that brook. I mean, when it overflows, people on Housatonic Street get it. I get it when it overflows, you know what I mean? You know it overflows to the fire department.
But how this is gonna, you're on the other side of Maple,
I get to water myself because, you know, and
but
then
you know it goes downhill, right?
right away from Lehigh.
Exactly.
I got a PhD in garage. You know?
Uh-huh.
I know where it goes. I know some people are gonna go pass away. But anyway, really seriously, you have to be thinking of the people here that don't want that thing there. It's huge. Nothing about a little motel that feels down or whatever. It's huge. It's gonna be an eyesore for a lot of people. They pay tax. Oh, I got this. Everybody, you talk to somebody with their ladies full. Oh, good, you tax. What tax? Down. Nothing goes down. I hear. Nothing. You think when they don't get money, that's gone. We'll see what's going on in town later, right? You, nothing goes down. Forget about the tax. Let's start thinking about the people that live about it. You know what I'm saying? Very simple.
Thank you, Nelson. Any other comments? Okay, to recap, the 20th, 5 o'clock will be on Housatonic Street. And then we'll probably take a tour up around the corner to Marilyn's house. Everyone okay with that? And, if you have nothing more, I think we'll, continue this till then.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to continue this hearing until the 27th of July
Yes,
at 6:15 PM.
thank you. Second?
Section.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. Conrad?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Donovan, aye. Okay. This hearing will continue the 27th. And we'll, have the site visit the 20th. Thank you. Now, while we're on that, I'm not gonna be here on that next meeting, the one after the 27th. So, hey, excuse me, folks. We have still a meeting to do, so if you are leaving, if you could orderly head out, we'll continue, unless you're welcome to stay and watch the rest of the fun. Next time, thanks, yeah. Battery storage,
We just take a recess for a minute.
yeah, we'll take a 5-minute recess, 2 minutes, something like that. Come on back, Brooke.
My original plan, like months ago, was to have some bylaws for you all for the new consolidated permitting process. battery energy storage and solar. I don't have those yet. I'll try to get those for the next meeting, the 27th. If not, it'll be the meeting after.
You can,
It'll be the 20th.
you can email them to us prior if you want, so we can start taking a look.
Yeah, once I have them, I'll send them out
Yep.
to you.
And
The state still hasn't released a lot of what I wanted
let's
them
just-
to. They're not gonna, so.
just get our stuff in.
One thing I do want the board, I think there was some discussion about this prior, and I don't, obviously we can't continue that discussion, but one thing is that we should get in the habit of, yes, working with other boards, but with the consolidated permitting process of making sure that we have our individual decisions apart from the other boards, because that process is meant to be at the same time, every board starting here and every board come to their own separate conclusion. That is then determinate if every board voted in favor of in their separate requirements, then it passes. And if one board does not, then it fails. For at least the clean energy. So it will be definitely something new for us. I believe that, I think I already told you all, October 1st is when it starts. I believe that we will have a consolidated energy permit that day put in for us to start looking at and reviewing.
This is supposed to be ready for the next town meeting, special town meeting?
Yeah, we're gonna have to have one in September. So we're gonna have to start having public hearings for that soon.
Hope you don't have any.
I know. The state did release some of their regulations because they soft launched their process July 1, but they still don't have a lot of final processes. But they're not giving us a break and they are not changing their date of October 1.
So you're gonna consolidate us, all our alternative energy stuff.
It will be wind,
Solar,
solar, battery energy, and the last one is anaerobic digestive facility. So I'll just try to find the boilerplate one that the town has used.
Yeah.
That's pretty plain. But
Now,
those are the four that
do-
DOER has said are protected under the clean energy.
In that bylaw, we have to, we'll name the
section.
the person that's, or that's gonna control the,
Yep.
yeah,
The local
Okay.
government representative.
yes,
Yes.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's what.
it has to be, even though they say that you don't need a bylaw to do anything with these regulations, you need to have in writing who that person is. That has to be somebody. And I actually have a letter for you all, but I realized I never gave it to you because of all the public hearings that we've been having. So I'll have that for the next meeting for you all to sign and send to the next select board meeting, or I can have that actually for this week.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then I can get
So
you
is
all
that
the-
person gonna be you?
That's what you also the land
Yeah.
use department, not just me. my
Land
company
use
holding,
department.
Yeah.
Okay, so you, okay. Does
That way
sound
there's
good
two
to
of us and
everyone?
one of us are out.
So we'll sign that and get it,
Yeah.
so we can at least have that
Yes.
done.
Yeah, I can have that for you on Monday.
Yeah.
This coming Monday, the 20th at the site visit. We'll meet on site, right, at
Yep.
165. And I'll have it for you all to sign then. And then I'll give it to the next select board. I'll ask to be put on the agenda for that the next day. So we'll get that done. That way
That part of it's done.
that part of it's done and we can start writing with that, knowing who we're appointing as the local government
I mean,
representative.
that's one of the bigger things.
It is, yeah.
Like we've spoke, as far as battery storage, we have limited locations.
Yep.
And probably just fire department recommendations will be part of that.
Okay.
Why do you say we have limited locations? Can't they put batteries anywhere near a power line?
They can, but if we have the setback areas and the land required, it's not already with houses. No,
One question I did have for you all, so I can ask this right now because it goes off of this, is would you include like battery energy as a utility setback? If it's a utility for an area, or if it's its own standalone structure, would it need to be following our structure setbacks? You can ponder upon this.
yeah,
But I know that I believe our first consolidated permit was not following structure setbacks.
it's gonna be closer then.
Right off the road.
Well,
I'm sorry, what's closer than what?
Again, I don't have anything official for the board. There was a developer that came and spoke with myself, the fire chief and building commissioner, about a potential battery energy storage
Yeah.
project, and it was not following the structure setbacks that we have. I believe it was following utility setbacks, which is about 10 feet in the front of the front setback of
Oh.
the road.
Less than structure setback,
Yes, less than structure setback.
which is how our hairdresser got her transformer on the corner, I guess.
Correct.
Yeah. I would think that, first of all, it would depend on the facility, right? So if it's a wind turbine, you want a big setback because if it falls, that falls over.
We had the fall zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have the
we're
fall
for that.
zone,
Yeah,
but like with the solar, we lessened that. Because it didn't
Right.
seem practical.
right. Now with the batteries, I don't know enough science to come up with a number, but I'm pretty sure it's not 10 feet.
And again,
It's not gonna be less than the structure setback, in my
Okay.
opinion.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is something we'd want the fire chief to weigh in on in terms of safety.
Yeah, I can definitely ask him to come. My initial impression was that it wasn't too, as long as he could access it, that was his biggest worry, if it's
Is
accessible.
there any standard about their proximity to flammables?
To flammables, it depends how you define that.
Battery.
Other
structures?
Oh, oh.
I think a lot of that went off of how they were looking at it. And again, this is the first developer I've really spoken to that had a plan and was like, if I were to come into your town, this is what I would do. So don't take this as, God's word per se, but it seemed that they would follow like other setbacks that we've had, or like for STR, our spacing requirement to drive a fire truck through. Seemed like that was pretty standard.
These
But-
structures are so small too. They're a 5 megawatt BESS is the size of a small tractor trailer box. They're small.
Right, but depends how many of them stack up.
Yeah, well, that's the other question. I mean, if they're 5 megawatt apiece, and you put two of them together, I got 10. First of all, why do you need 10 megawatt? Why do you need 20 megawatt? Why do you need 30 megawatt?
Megawatt is a power rating. That's, a battery is not a power, a battery is an energy.
These are
storage.
battery storage units.
Yeah, so what's the 5 megawatt hours?
It'd be,
Yeah,
it'd be,
what they collect
uh,
off the grid in the high times. So
Yeah.
when we're producing excess energy,
No, I
they take that.
I
excess
understand that. I
energy.
just wanted to make sure we get the units right. That's all.
Yeah,
Just,
megawatt.
is that how they're measuring them, or do they measure them in KVA?
Megawatt hours.
Megawatt hours.
How much
So-
hours stored versus
So Peter,
everything
you
else
suggest-
is megawatts generated.
And I think Conrad's also going off this, so if I recall, the state had different levels
Yeah.
of BESS based
One-
off of the number of megawatt that you were storing, that the setback might be different for a small versus a large, and I assume a large would end up in a larger structure anyway, that would need a structural
Well,
setback, but
My,
we would probably want to specify something.
my concern is, of course, we want to be able to get fire equipment in there, but I don't even know why, because if there's a fire in a lithium battery, they just watch it burn.
Right, well, I would be
They-
more
they-
concerned
they-
about
They
setback.
spray
from
the
other
nearby
properties.
buildings, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of it more like a chemical plant.
Yeah.
That when there's a fire, where do the fumes go? You know, and
Right.
what are the fumes and how dangerous are they?
It frees up wind blowing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
What
you
is-
can't zone around wind direction, but I mean, is
Crazy.
it
If you worry
like,
about the
is
neighborhood,
it gonna
it's
be
not-
like Bhopal or is it gonna be like nothing? It all just sits there and fizzles and nothing emits. I think there's gonna be an emission. I don't know what it is. Is it carbon dioxide? Is it lithium dioxide in a gas form?
Oh, it's gotta be some nasty stuff.
But we
But-
were also thinking that these things, we thought initially before all this started, but first, we were thinking we could site these things next to a substation somewhere. Would that make sense? So then how many substations you have in town that might be an appropriate place to put them? If you're gonna start putting them in 102, industrial zone somewhere, I mean,
That's the interest.
yeah. No,
Industrial zone, right.
But there's also the
so
option.
we're gonna relegate it to the industrial zone. How
Uh,
can we relegate?
I don't know, can we?
I don't think so, because isn't there like, or the states, whatever they had residential options for people that have small ones on residential
That's different.
properties.
I think that'd be,
Right.
that'll be exempt. The
That would be,
resi-
right, but what we
residential.
would want,
But Tesla
we would also
value.
want to specify setback from property line, things like that. Because to Peter's point, we don't want that close to somebody else's property and
Well, it'll
have,
be similar to our
What would be
our
utility
solar.
or structure?
Yeah, our solar, where we say, okay, in these zones, you can have up to this size. Right? Are we think something like
I
that?
think so.
Where like, and like large solar is limited to certain areas.
It's not based on acreage anymore, it's based on
Based on-
kilowatt
Yeah.
generation,
Yeah. Megawatt.
kilowatt or megawatt,
Megawatt.
You're talking about the solar
on the
farms.
solar side.
Everything that the state has regulations for the clean energy is megawatt hours and megawatts. So for storage hours, megawatt hours and.
So a methane digester and a lithium battery are treated the same based upon their,
There's a little bit more
electric output?
nuances, but the 25 megawatt is really
Oh.
the pivot of when above that it goes to the energy facility siting board.
oh, okay, okay,
So-
that makes some sense.
Yeah, so
We
anything,
lose control of it? We lose control of it?
yes, yes.
After 25 megawatts?
Yes. Yeah, we have no control of it. The community has, I forget the word for it, but basically they have the ability to sit as a part of the board or at least give their opinion in.
Yeah.
But the Energy
Advisory.
Facility Siting Board is its own entity that's made up of honestly it's not just people from DOER, so it's somebody from really every branch of, we have Fish and Wildlife, we have somebody from the energy, we have somebody from DEP, somebody from EOHLC, and I think, don't quote me, but they did take a wide variety.
So if a 25 megawatt battery storage facility is proposed in
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
goes to the state board.
No, goes to us.
What, 30 megawatt hours, it
State.
goes to them?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I believe-
hypothetically, a 30 megawatt proposal, we get to hold advisory hearings and give advice to this board or not?
Something, they're still,
Probably.
last time they
about it.
looked, they were still flushing out those specific details.
Yeah.
But I believe that was,
I think that's very large.
yeah.
That could be, I'm just not seeing it as a real problem, because I think the ability to give advice and to hold hearings on the technical aspects of it gives us enormous amount of power. We don't get the final decision. But I had experience up in Vermont years ago with a gas pipeline where the state was in the same position to the FERC that we would be in relation to the state. And we did a huge amount of work. We had long hearings, technical hearings. We made some recommendations about conditions. And eventually the pipeline, the company gave it up because we put so much on it. But it can be very persuasive on a decisive decision-making board if the advisory group does a thorough job.
So I'll have something for you all in 2 weeks. I don't necessarily, I can't say it's gonna be my final draft for you all, but I'll have ideas about all 4 different kinds.
Can you find anything about the risks from air pollution from a burning battery storage facility? I mean,
I can,
there's different techniques, there's different technologies involved, but
If-
lithium is the main one.
if you all, can I make a suggestion instead? That we ask the fire chief to be, or to give commentary, because he definitely knows more than I do.
Yeah.
And we have a lot
Yeah.
of training.
Just anything at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I know nothing. I know that if the wind blows and it's bad stuff, that's bad for people, but I want to know how bad, how dangerous the fumes are going to be.
Okay, I can,
I mean, a burning house is a terrible, dangerous thing to be downwind of, right? It's full of there's PCBs in all the flooring and the plastic and, you don't want to breathe that stuff. It's those poor guys at 9/11 site, those guys were breathing that stuff. And they all got sick. So you don't want to breathe anything that's involved in fire, but I still am interested to know if this is as bad or worse than a burning house, I guess.
I will also say it depends on the type of battery used, because there are different types of batteries being used. Lithium ion was the industry standard, but now I believe it's switched to sodium something, I forget, but
Yeah.
different types that are not as either lethal or they don't stay on fire as long. So I think that will be something that we will be seeing as technology gets better, that the material will be changing.
Toyota has a new battery too. Do you guys know about the new Toyota battery?
Yeah, it's a
Solid state.
solid.
It's
Yeah.
some sort of
It's
gel that
starting
they
to
use
be-
instead of an electrolyte.
So a lithium battery gives off hydrogen fluoride, which creates hydrofluoric acid, when contact with moisture. Along with carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, and other flammable hydrocarbons, methane, ethylene. So, yeah, hydrogen fluoride's the worst one. But the bigger thing is it's a runaway fire. They can't, there's no way to shut it off usually.
You just suppress the outsides, which
Yeah.
you can.
So that's the thing, you keep. You can
Contain it.
You can,
But-
but you can't contain it. There's nothing.
Well, you keep it from spreading.
Yeah, and so your location needs to be where it's not gonna hurt anything if it does catch fire.
But also, a
Which
lot of the
aspect
newer,
setbacks.
Yeah.
a lot of the
Access
newer,
separation Structures and.
and all of the newer structures too require, and I believe our fire chief will require. Individual containment devices in every battery group. So it will have its own suppression systems built within it, because our fire chief does not want our firefighters going into an area where they will not really be able to fight that fire.
So you're saying it's like a dome or a
It's more like a
container
block
building?
over, it's like a shelter over the batteries that has its own suppression system inside of it.
Like a
So-
nuclear plant has a
Yeah.
containment.
Yeah, just don't drop a crane down through it. That's how the Chernobyl happened.
The implied is like a foam suppressant or
It depends what type of battery is within the system itself. With lithium, it would not be water. Because it
like a
just,
trichemical.
You don't want.
Like a gas. station,
Yeah.
trichemical.
yeah. Typically, from my understanding, again, I haven't done the NFPA training. I do have access to NFPA and I've looked at it, but definitely chief knows much better than I do.
Here's a suggestion just for discussion and drafting. What about 50 feet all around minimum? Is that enough? For a battery storage
50
unit?
front, side, back, rear.
Yeah,
And
all
50
around.
from building, from other structures as well.
Well, I don't know about their structures. I don't care so much about their structures, but
But other.
I care about a
Neighboring
neighbor who
structures.
has to
Neighboring,
breathe in
yeah,
the
okay.
fumes, yeah. So, 50 feet from a boundary or 100 feet, I don't know.
I
But
think,
it shouldn't be 10 feet, I'm pretty sure of that.
no,
Yeah.
but when you say a front setback, there's usually a road there.
Yeah.
So the road is your non-flammable setback. You want to look at it like that.
Right, right.
So actually, in this case, the front setback could be a little bit less.
Okay. What is our largest setback right now in our bylaw? Do you know?
You want me to pull it up?
I think we used to have 50 feet on some things, but I don't know.
40.
102.
Oh, just kidding.
What's it?
150 in the PCBC. 40 is our typical.
Your basic, yeah, that's
So
probably,
OPLI and I are 40. Other than that, 35 in our 40 and our 30, and then 20.
So 40 or 50, right?
yeah, that sounds like
Okay,
Sound right?
realistic.
I'll start drafting at that. And then if we want,
Yeah.
obviously if we want to change it, but that helps me out a lot because I didn't know.
But we
Yeah.
have latitude, set to kind of a
I'll
setback.
double check again.
Or if we're gonna
I
go,
think we do, but the state hasn't finalized their suggested model bylaws. So this could be something, this very well could be something that we adopt something and then they say, just kidding, here's what we suggest, you can't do that, just like ADUs.
so if they
That's
say
it.
30 megawatt is okay, it's gonna be handled by some other agency, and we're left out of it.
Yeah, that is already,
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
giant system.
Yeah.
Right now, who knows what the future will be?
Well, again, I understand why these units come in 5 megawatt containers.
Yeah.
The size of a small truck box. So
Yeah. And of them,
30 megawatts, six of those
yeah,
trailer sized units. That doesn't occupy a lot.
no, it doesn't.
It's like, that's smaller than a mobile home. Right? Realistically.
When you say trailer, you mean tractor trailer?
Tractor
Yeah.
trailer.
That's not smaller than a mobile home. 6 of those.
No, that's what I'm
No, a
saying.
single one is.
A single tractor trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, a big one's a 53-foot box.
Yeah.
Well, but, you know, if you got like a 30-foot box, say 8 foot wide, and you got 6 of those, I mean, that's not a lot of area. And it's containing 30 megawatt of capacity. You have storage. And it's not a big structure when you think about
Well, but the 30 megawatt number is in the law, so it's not anything we can really debate or change. It's the law, right? We're preempted above a certain
Is it,
capacity.
is it in the law? Or is it in just their recommendation?
The size that goes to the
Yeah,
EFSB,
yeah.
you know, it's in. They have.
Sorry, Gord, sorry. A 5 megawatt utility scale battery pack is generally housed in a standard 20-foot shipping container,
20 foot,
so it's half,
okay? I don't know why.
8 by 9.5 by 20.
It's a lot less than a
Yeah,
tractor trailer.
2 of them be a tractor trailer, basically.
So 3 tractor trailers and we're preempted.
Yeah,
Wait, so that's for
But
5 megawatt?
doesn't,
You said that's 5 megawatt hours?
Yeah.
It's 20 by 8.5.
20 by 8 by 9.5, yeah, 9.5 high.
So I don't want to necessarily keep us here all night talking about this. I'll draft stuff for you all and you all can be as little as you want, saying you hate it or you love it. I promise I won't take any personal offense to it. I'll have that for you on the 27th. Only other thing I want to talk about tonight, which is my only really town planner update of importance, is that there is a listening session upcoming that BRPC is helping put on. But it's really for the state. It's for the pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes, but on state land. I don't know how much you all heard about this as of late, but in general, I think that the Commonwealth owns over 500,000 acres of land, which includes like state forests, wildlife management areas, beaches, things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot are within Western Mass, and the state has created a new pilot commission because I can think of a great example is Martha's Vineyards pilot is insane compared to a town like Middlefield, where I think over 90% of their town is state land. Right now, pilot does really I believe a per acre evaluation based on the value of the land, and then locally. So
The
like,
development value or the use value?
well, that's a good question, and they don't give us the full value.
So the
But-
state will give the municipalities some money for their state land. They
Yes, yeah.
do now.
So like, for example, with October Mountain and Beartown, I believe that the land that we have is valued at over $10 million. We don't get that much money. I think we get 100,000 or so. So I got numbers from Sarah. I didn't break them down. We get very, very little because it's not appraised, not valued that much by the state.
So the high value stuff on the vineyard.
On the Cape,
Okay.
areas where truthfully they don't need as much money. They have a lot of tourists coming in. It's a higher. So there's been a lot of push from, especially out here in Western Mass, for some more equity in how that wealth is distributed for the pilot. So they have made a new pilot commission. They are going and doing listening sessions really in 5 different parts of the state. They are coming to Berkshire County on Friday, July 24th at the Berkshire Innovation Center from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Sarah's going, I'll be going. I would love, though, if any of you can make it, to also come. I think it's really important that we show up. I believe there's only one person on the pilot commission, I think that was recently appointed, that is from Berkshire County. So we really need to make sure that they know how we feel about things, and that to not forget Western Mass, because we deserve an equal part of the pie, more than what we're getting right now. And we also do have huge tourist seasons, and maybe we're not the Cape, but I believe the governor even said a little while ago, I was hearing release that she was like, oh, the Berkshires is the next Cape. So like
The Berkshires what?
is the next Cape. So we are the next area of the state with a tourist boom. And the fact that we are getting so little for our state land right now, I don't think is very fair.
Doesn't that comment from the governor mean that we don't need help? That we're about to get lots of.
It's trying to put us from
Well-
a value standpoint compared to the Cape and the islands.
I think she's saying that we have the potential to get enough tourism soon to become the next Cape.
Which means we don't need.
But I think,
pilot.
but I don't think that's the case. I think that right now we haven't had that help for so long that our community still, I mean, Beckett has a huge amount of state land. Beckett is nothing like the Cape. And even if, I mean, yes, they have Jacob's Pillow, but even if you get more people coming to see Jake's Pillow, I don't think there will be a time where it's going to be just like, you know, P-Town or anything like that, right? It's different draws and it's different people that come out here. And yes, we do have busy tourist seasons, but still, I believe that we need to be equally valued for our land that we can't use. And I'm a big fan of that. I love preserving our land, and I'm so happy that we have October Mountain, that we have Beartown, that we have Hot Brook Management, Wildlife Management Area. But that does put us at, you know, a decrease compared to, you know, areas again out really in east. The east is where it's valued much more. So if you will, it is Friday, July 24th from 10 to 11:30 at the Berkshire Innovation Center in Pittsfield. And I've been told by powers that be to spread the word. So here I am spreading the word. And if you would like to go, email me and I'll send you the registration link. You don't have to register, but they'll send you information about how the pilot works, more information about what the commission's doing and things like that. So you might answer some questions before you get there.
So I could go, maybe, I do have something I have to do at 11:30, but I can do that. But I don't know a thing about how this program works right now, so
Yeah.
I couldn't possibly testify on anything sensible.
I think
I
it's
just want a body.
I think it's more so showing up and showing that there's interest and that, you know, we want to learn more and that we're out here. Puck. I'm sure that you know more about this than me.
Been hearing a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's everybody's working on it, especially the hill towns.
Yeah, the hill towns have it the worst.
Yeah.
For sure.
Where is this again?
This is at the Berkshire Innovation Center in Pittsfield. And again, don't feel like you have to, but if you are available, you are interested.
Sorry, I'm not available that day. I know.
You're the worst.
I am. I
What's
am the worst.
happening? Are you
Yeah.
on vacation?
No, we have our company summer party that day.
Out of town.
How lame. You guys are killing me. Don't worry, I'll be there. I'll represent us. I'm on it. But
You going?
I'm on the board of assessors. I probably shouldn't.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
If I can make it, I'll go try.
Yeah, that's big for you guys.
I think it's definitely, I mean, I was in awe when I heard, when Sarah told me that our property is valued at over $10 million and we get a percentage of that.
Can you send me a link on?
Yeah.
Send me a link to,
Absolutely.
maybe we can go together.
Right now.
Tim, you want to go?
I'm out of town.
Buck, you can't go.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'll send you to the.
Life is hard.
Oh,
He's got a party. Life for Buck is hard. He's got to go to a party.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think those are my two big announcements.
What's happening up in regional planning on our project, zoning?
Well, planning, CJ reached out. I told him that we've been kind of slammed and that our meeting's taken a while, and I've asked just for an update for the next meeting. If he can even just send me an update, because I don't want to waste his time sitting here through everything, because these meetings are obviously they're as they should, taking a good amount of time. But they are still working on it. Have been working on it.
But when did we want to have the CDA material ready for town meeting? Is that going to make it for?
September? No way.
It's not still, will no.
He's gonna need another year's contract in order to finish this.
Yeah, we'll be looking at next May.
I
Yeah.
think might be a better thing. It might give us more time to focus on the clean
Yeah.
energy stuff
Sounds like a
and really
I mean, I
lock in on that.
will be lucky to get the alternative energy and with how this hotel's going.
So Brooke, if we need to have, a special town meeting before October 1st.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the end of September, very end of September.
Okay, and so working backwards, when do we need to have a public hearing by?
We need to post about it at least 2 weeks before we have that.
I guess we can have a public hearing the day before the special town meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
No, because what happens is, here's what happens.
Right?
We have to have the whole
Everything's
package
figured out.
figured out when the select board posts the meeting.
That's true.
Because they don't let us, we used to be able to just give like a place mark. And then
That's true.
even up to the meeting, we could give all the information. They don't let us do that anymore. gotta be all there, so
And there will be other warrant items on like the special town meeting
And that's
warrant.
what-
So it won't just be us.
through us last time because they
Yeah.
posted the warrant like 6 weeks before the meeting.
I'll chat with Chris tomorrow and see if I
Yeah.
can get an idea of when they want to post the warrant for the special town meeting.
And then we have to have a separate public hearing about it.
I mean, it can be.
It can be
right on
after the
meeting.
warrants.
No,
Or
can-
it should be
It
before the
should be
warrant.
before the warrant but if we work with them when they post the warrant, I mean, if we can get it a couple weeks before the meeting, say the
Yeah.
meeting's the last Thursday of September, then we're still good for our October deadline.
Right, they have to post the warrant 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be go with a
I'll
select.
email Chris right now to make sure I'm not.
So we,
Yeah.
but we would want to aim somewhere at the beginning of September.
Yeah, we gotta have a public hearing by then, so we only have a couple meetings. Like I told Brooke, you all set, Brooke?
Yeah, that's really everything. If anybody has any questions.
I am gonna be not just out of town, out of the country.
Where are you
on
going?
the
Anyplace
10th.
fun?
Huh?
Where are you going? Anyplace fun?
I hope so. Doing the Ireland tour, so,
So we're meeting in August, the 10th and the 24th. I will say ZBA is being the 26th to continue their hearing for the Pilgrim. So if we need another meeting, that night is not available. Concom meets the 5th and the 19th, so this meeting was not available those nights either. If we needed, again, additional times, I just know those dates right now because those are other boards.
Well-
Definitely give us.
we're not gonna have. I don't believe we're gonna have this hotel wrapped up the next meeting.
So
So that, do you guys wanna go it alone on the 10th? Do you wanna try to,
I'm also out of town the 10th.
there we go. I think we gotta change our meetings. How about, are you back the 17th?
I'm away the 17th, but I'm in the same time zone, which is an improvement over being in
Okay.
LA and working. So
Earlier,
the select board meets the 1st and the 3rd Tuesday, so we could meet.
I could zoom in on the 17th.
yeah, I'm thinking that first one is for the hotel.
17th,
We might be able to wrap that up the
through
17th.
17th and 24th.
Yeah.
August. Okay, so we're gonna be here so much.
Huh?
Yeah, in August.
What's wrong?
We're gonna be there so much. It's gonna be so fun. A week apart.
I don't know.
Fun.
Do
I mean,
hotel
if-
and stuff,
unless you-
everything else the 24th.
Unless you want to do the 27th and the 3rd, like,
I mean, we could. Ever you all.
what I'm thinking is our next real meeting is gonna be the 27th for the hotel
Of July.
of July. We're gonna give them a full 1, 2, 3 weeks, come back to us on the 17th with even more things that we pick apart from them. And hopefully be able to make a
So,
decision that
The 17th, the only thing going on in August is the PCB advisory committee meets at 6. I can see if they'll be done by 7. But we couldn't meet at 6 and Peter would be in that meeting. We could meet upstairs and select boards off.
No,
We could
we
meet at the
can't.
fire department. In their meeting room. There's no recording though.
Is it the PCB committee's meeting on the 17th of August?
Unless you guys, it's in the courtroom calendar right now, so you guys have the room reserved.
I don't know about it, so
Okay,
I don't know.
Maybe they don't have it.
I don't know about a lot, so. Doesn't mean much.
Yeah, we can't, because we need recording.
okay, I will ask Chris Smithson.
Yeah, check on that. Getting way too busy then we
The
can,
hotel is more important to me than the PCB.
Okay.
it really is. And then if we had. Oh, boy, we'd have to. So if we did a public hearing on our bylaw stuff the 14th of September. You said, when does the select board meet?
They
Second.
meet the next night. Yeah,
Yes, perfect.
that should work.
Yeah, and if they post the 15th, then we have, well, we're gonna miss, we wouldn't make the first deadline. Town meeting would be that day on the 1st. Is it a deal breaker?
I mean, if we get. They've said repeatedly, we don't have to change our bylaws, to make this process work. I don't really believe them. I think that that's just
I
them
mean, the
trying to.
process is still gonna be there.
We'll have to start the process, no matter what, on the 1st, if anybody submits any plans. And again, I do believe there'll be at least one, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't have things solidified the next, the 2nd, potentially. We will just have to really, that first project coming in, we'll have to take it at state requirement level. If that's the case, if things that we have don't mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us that we don't have to change our bylaws. I don't believe that, but. I don't think it would be.
I mean, the only thing we don't, we still also have, when's our moratorium run out? Huh?
November.
Right.
That's-
The only thing we're really lacking on them is a battery
We haven't
bylaw.
heard from the AG's office yet, so.
No, so I think if we could get a town meeting the 1st,
Okay.
we could probably get this done.
1st of October?
1st of October.
I'll ask Chris.
It's an aggressive schedule.
Soon.
Sorry, that was a word term. Awful. Awful.
Well, I'll try to see if the room is open
17th.
17th. I emailed about that, and then I'll try to see if we can have our final like hearing the 14th,
Yep.
and they can sign the warrant the 15th.
Yeah. So 7, that would give us a couple meetings. It's pretty much the only ironing out, changing our terminology in our solar, putting it all in one section and adding the battery.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe anaerobic digestive facility.
Yeah, whatever that is. I got it.
It's a methane digester at a cow farm.
Bingo.
Oh, is that what it does?
Yeah.
Okay. And-
Anaerobic
Just-
means no oxygen.
No oxygen.
And
And they
landfills too,
put a
right?
cap on it. and
Can
they-
be. Yeah.
They throw in all the dung and out comes this very valuable methane, which they can burn or they can sell.
How many megawatts of that?
Per cow?
Per cow.
You have to start restricting number of cows available.
That's Pylon.
They've been doing it on dairy farms for generations.
They let off enough methane.
They used,
Yeah.
remember, down at Great Barrington, Fred Mercer used to heat the garage down there with the methane off the landfill
Yeah.
till he blew it up.
That's the problem.
It's going good, boss, right up until it wasn't.
Do we want to consider in the best, this is probably too much, but the stuff that Norbert brought to us about mechanical energy storage, or do we?
I think we
wanna-
keep it very simple, what we have to talk about. And then if we want to add on later, we can definitely like amend.
We can hold that one off.
So I suggested to Brooke when we talked about it, that we put this all in a chapter. I don't know what the number is gonna be, but a chapter that has subchapters for batteries, solar. And then, if you got 3 subchapters, you can add a 4th one for mechanical storage if you want.
So we'll pull, yeah,
We'll figure out numbers as we get
we'll pull it
closer.
out of the, whatever, it's in 9. It's in chapter 9 now, I think, all of that, right?
Yeah, 9.13, I think it's right before. STRs, which.
Wind is in there.
Wind is earlier,
Wind
and
was-
then
Everybody freaked
solar is
out about.
also in a different section as well.
And then our
But we'll pull
chart
that
for solar is even in a different section, so.
So we'll pull all of those out, put
Yeah.
them all together. We'll have it be clean energy.
Okay. All right, we all set, folks?
Move
More
to
vote?
adjourn.
Move to it. So moved. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.